What up, guys? Today we're back with part 2 of the Justice League versus Perpetua, and we're gonna just go through the rest of the story. I wanted to finish it in the first one. That's why I didn't, say that this is part 1, because I was hoping I could have finished it in one video, but it was too much information and too much to go through, and like I said, that video was already too long. So hopefully this one's a lot shorter, but I should be a lot closer to the ending, though there is still quite a bit to go through. So now let's start back where we left off. So what happened after that? After they beat him, the World Forger, he ended up joining their team. He came down to the third dimension with them, and as he came, we saw now the other perspective with Mira and I think I forgot his name was Sun Star. They ended up talking about what happened. They said, "We're overwhelmed finding Mixius. We're losing, and the whole world could see it happening." That's when Luthor showed up with the Legion of Doom, and they unleashed Batman to find Mixius and turn the tide. They used all of their incredible powers and won. And then they show actually Mixius beaten and laid over with Lex over him. So that's pretty impressive. I've never really seen Mixius beaten like that, but yeah, he's been defeated even at full power, and they're standing above him, and it makes sense. They used another imp that was almost as strong as him, and they also had the totality key and stuff, so they all had their own power to be able to handle him. But after this happened, and then after the Justice League came back, they realized that, hey, look, Lex is getting too dangerous at this point. He ends up initiating going further with his plan, as he basically broadcasts to the entire world about why should we play through heroes of justice. These are the guys that started this problem. We're failing because of them. It's all their fault. He was blaming them all, shifting all the blame onto them, saying, hey, let's do what we have to do and survive no matter what and do our best. So the Justice League at this point are like, well, he's got the people more on his side now, and this is helping him out with providing for for Perpetua, and they're basically screwed. So the only option they have now, since they have the World Forger, is now to create their own team and have their own league of people to pretty much be able to combat the big threat that's coming from the Legion of Doom and Perpetua herself. So they have two basically plans. One is to get the World Forger to get his two other brothers on his side, because the last time they won, they had the brothers on his side. And then the other one is to get every other Justice League member or superhero throughout the entire 52 multiverses to help them in the war against the Legion of Doom and Perpetua. So it goes on to say, our only hope is to find my brothers, the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. We held her back once before. No, I can feel what you need to do next. I need to solve the mystery of the power inside myself. I can feel it echoing through hypertime in the multiverse. If it can send a message, it might give us an army to fight back. So we have the World Forger saying, yeah, let's get my brothers, we can do it again. And then Starman says, hey, no, I think I need to connect more to my powers because I'm already connected to the totality. So I'm connected through all of the multiverse and hypertime, which is connected to every timeline throughout the multiverse. So I can connect to everybody and then give them a heads up and say, hey, join us. We need you on our team to fight against Luthor's plan. And as this has happened, they get everybody there. They get a council. And Superman basically goes on and says, the crisis that's tearing our multiverse apart, it began in our universe, in our home, but I know it's impacted each of your universes as much as our own. When the source wall fell, it fell simultaneously for all of us. The void continues to eat away at the edge of every universe in creation. Our multiverse is dying, and it dies as rod of evil. We have learned a harsh truth that a rod spreads, and the world of people of each of us in the world's turn into fear towards doom. There will be no saving any of us. If Perpetua is allowed to rise again, we must transform the multiverse into an engine of hate to destroy her makers. Her great army will raise every universe in existence if given the chance. So he's saying that, yes, it's our fault, we messed up. Once the wall comes down, it's coming down simultaneously for everybody because it's interconnected, and the multiverse is getting eaten up by the void itself. And then we're learning with the whole thing with Lex did, he's introduced Doom to everybody, and now everybody's believing more in Doom. And the more you believe in going through Perpetua's mindset of how to deal with the problem, it gives her more power. And he said once when she's out, basically she's going to turn this into a universe, multiverse of hate and anger and conquer everything, so she can surpass her, god, her gods, or like the people that are above her, and then surpass them, and then beat them. And then he brings up World Forger there to talk. He says, I'm the World Forger, son of Perpetua. Each of your worlds was molded by my hands, and I'm proud to see you here. So he's saying that I created every one of them. So he created all the other single ones. Like I said, the original was first created by Perpetua, but then he continued on with some other ones. And then when she got locked up, they fixed everything, and then he created every other universe. So the creation of the entire multiverse was thanks to him. So then they went to go find the Monitor. They went to the planet that he was on when the first crisis happened with the Anti-Monitor, his planet, and he wasn't there, but they do find him. As he shows up, he goes on to explain, he says, the multiverse was infinite once, but due to the crisis set in motion by my brother, the Anti-Monitor, it collapsed into a singular universe, a singular history. That is until another crisis shattered that history back open. What have been infinite would contain 52 universes. My brother and the original Monitor were reborn, splintered into many aspects. It was not until the dark multiverse rose that began to reform us as true self. Yes, I was reformed only to be captured and tortured by a nightmare you never should have forged. Nor have you ever stopped me or to help me while you come to this dead world? The modern sphere was formed with the current universal structure. It exists at the edge of things. We may be able to get an answer as we did before, brother. Billions of years ago, the judges of the source, they sent us help. The multiverse was in infancy. It's now grown and it's broken. You have peered beyond the void. You have seen other multiverses. Why would they heal a multiverse that cannot heal itself without dooming medicine as heart? The multiverse is worth saving. Damn you! It says, when I last tried, the infinite worlds died on my watch, and I lacked the tools I had then with my ship of Harbinger. So he's just explaining the events of the first time when they fought in the Infinite Crisis event against the Dark Anti-Monitor. Then it turned the infinite multiverse, which it wasn't really even infinite. When I read that story again with you guys and I show you guys, you will see that it wasn't infinite, but that's what they call it. They said it was infinite, then turned into a single universe, then it got shattered and turned back into a multiple. And then when that happened, the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor were one being, but then they got splintered into multiple ones. So that's why you saw all these other like different monitors and stuff. You saw a female one, you saw the vampire one, all these other ones. Those were just the same monitor splintered into multiple different aspects. And I guess the same thing happened to the Anti-Monitor, but since then they've reformed back into the one single monitor that they were always meant to be and always were. But then after this, he states that it was like the world that they're on now was formed with the current structure of the universe and is outside the edge. And then he's talking about the judges, how they helped them. And he said he was talking about how it was the beginning, Forger saying period and beyond the void. He's saying that you've looked outside of our multiverse and even in the void outside of the omniverse itself, and you've seen other multiverses, which that really caught me off because we heard the same thing in Marvel too, but now we're hearing in DC and it's just so there's other multiverses. In Marvel, we know the Beyonders came from a separate multiverse, which was different than the regular Marvel multiverse. So I'm guessing for DC, the other multiverses are probably going to be they're possibly the other comic book illustrations they have, like Dark Horse, where they have Lucifer, Morningstar, and stuff like that. So they have other publishing companies under DC that do their own other specific stories. So those might be their own multiverses on top of it. So that's probably what they mean, but I don't know. They don't really explain or show the other multiverses. Same thing with Marvel. They just say there is. So there's more than one multiverse, but this threat is only dangerous in this one. He's saying, why would they help us out for this one when there's a bunch of other ones? And he's saying, but it's important to help this one out. And then he mentioned that, last time when he tried against Anti-Monitor, it didn't work out well, and he had the Harbinger, which was, given the advantage. He's like, how the hell were we supposed to do it this time with somebody's bigger threat? And then as he's talking, he talks to Barry about it, mentioning about Lost. Echo, he says they don't even remember they have lost brother. We can't trust them to stop her mother Perpetua. Do you even realize how powerful she has grown already? How much more powerful she gains every day? What hope is there? So he's basically mentioning when Flash died, when he was running around the Anti-Monitor's machine to push back in his antimatter into the machine and destroy it. And a lot of events have happened, and the retcons and stuff, they keep on continuously forgetting what happened and their memories getting erased. Certain few characters have memory of what happened, but most of them don't. And he's like, they don't even know, and she's getting stronger. So he's saying that she can get stronger, and she is, and none of them can handle her. But Will Forge is not quitting on him. He said, I tried to forge a whole new multiverse to replace this one. I didn't work, so now I'm going to give this one a shot. What do you think, brother? Well, you put it that way. You have to hope there's another way that he's going to do it. We're going to have to go to the outskirts of creation, to the antimatter universe. So now they're saying they have to go to the outskirts of creation. So I'm guessing the multiverse, because the antimatter universe is the opposite of the multiverse. It's one single universe, but it is the exact opposite of the multiverse itself. So they're just going to be leaving the multiverse to go there to obviously get him. But as this is happening, Starman's having a talk with Martian Manhunter's son. Even though that other world was just a possibility and it technically destroyed at this point, this kid that was made from that world actually is now in the regular world, and he's just wondering, what is he? He's like, I'm not even sure if I really exist. I'm not from an alternate timeline. I'm from a fake universe that blinked out reality in a second. I'm some kind of maybe thing. I already tried to explain to some monkey in a hat about Abomination. So he's saying that he's not even an alternate timeline or one of these other parts of the multiverse. He's from the world that was created that wasn't fully materialized, and now that world's gone and he's there. So it showcases that you can still have people living even outside of that. But as this is happening, we have Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl. They're fighting against a bunch of Amazos, and they're pretty much destroying them easily, which is impressive because Amazo can adapt to any ability. But while this is happening, the rest of the Justice League members are now on the Antimatter universe looking for the Anti-Monitor, obviously. So while they're looking for him, John Stewart says, okay, I need everyone who isn't a cosmic being in my side of line. Antimatter and matter don't exactly get along. If you stuck together, I can protect you as long as my willpower holds, and keep your eyes out of anything that looks like it wants to kill you. So he's saying that, hey, look, besides these two cosmic beings that can handle being in the antimatter universe, we're beings of pure matter. We will be obliterated, no matter how powerful you are. So he had to create the energy construct around them just to protect them. But as this is happening, Luthor goes through a change, just like how they've been talking for a while now, that in the past and in Perpetua's perfect world, there was a competition of human and Martian DNA. And Luthor wanted to go back to that. So he does it, he actually obtains it, and he becomes Apex Lex. As he becomes Apex Lex, he's the apex predator of, perfectly what humans are supposed to be. He goes on saying, she created the entire multiverse. How can you say our desires are unnatural? They are natural itself. He's going, I'm going zealous, I'm Apex Lex. Would you have conquered the multiverse and created an empire so powerful that no cosmic judgment will even dare challenge us, and we still can? So he's going with her plans, basically admitting, yes, that they are trying to be so strong that even the cosmic judges can handle them. So the cosmic judges are above them, but you can increase your power to surpass them. That's what she's doing. While this is happening, though, Martian Manhunter is trying to talk to him, like, hey, we're friends, we were childhood friends, and I just want you to remember that. But it doesn't work well at all, and Lex basically tricks Martian Manhunter to pretty much absorb him, and he's absorbing him inside his body since he's a Martian, and he wants to fully be complete, so he completely absorbs Martian Manhunter within himself, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But then after this, we have we go back to the Legion of Doom, and they're talking about their plans. And while they're doing this, Jarro, as they're dressed up as Robin, trying to attack them. As he does it, they're talking. They say, "With enough power, side with us. Perpetua will be reaching the zenith of her power, and all she needs to reshape the multiverse into the final Doom formation. So once she gets her full power, she can reshape the multiverse into what she needs. And then Lex goes on to explain all the steps they've gone past to obtain this goal. He said he thought back on the last few chapters of his story that just about his leagues and everything they had known. It had started with the core of the source wall falling apart to Earth, a power source called the Totality. The race to control it pitted against the League, against a newly formed Legion of Doom, and led to the discovery of a seventh dark force that mirrored the ones that are known to govern the material universe. However, unlock these forces would unlock the Totality, releasing its power. One by one, the heroes battled the foes over accessing these mysterious energies: the ultraviolet spectrum, the unseen light of emotion, the still force, the cosmic current towards stasis and death, the tear of extraction and dark mirror of life's connection, and a drive towards isolation and solipsism. Some force they were just now giving names to, likely the tear's twin and energy used to end gods and snuff out magic. They called it the void wind, and an energy that heroes called the black apple, unlocked by discovering the universe's most forbidden secrets, and this finally a force beyond imagination itself, the sixth note, unleashing upon the world what impossible as glimpse. Jaro watched as he watched, and the horror seemed as the relic of everything is gained in access, and his six of the seven forces falling through his relic, enough to unlock the Totality's true form, the cosmic giant Perpetua. Perpetua, the universe's greatest secret. She had attempted to create our multiverse as something eternal, perpetual motion, eternal, a realm where her and her favorite children, humans, would live forever. So he's basically going on stuff. He said he had the ultraviolet spectrum, the still force, the tears of extraction, which was a new thing, like life thing, the void wind, which basically is like anti-magic and it kills gods and magic. The black apple, which is the truth of the dark secrets. The sixth note is basically going in the sixth dimension, grabbing the stuff there, like it was this jewel. And then he goes on to talk about how the final one is basically just having everybody in the world, or most of everybody, signing with Doom, tipping the favors into Perpetua's ideals, and once when it goes in there, she'll pretty much like have all seven of them and be able to do whatever she wants. While this is happening, later on we see it jump cuts to Lex pretty much stabbing Superman and taking him out pretty easily. And as he does that, he gets attacked by what's his name? The Green Lantern. I was going to say Green Lantern. He gets attacked by him, but he's able to handle him and fight him back. He's able to stop Flash and beat them. And while he's beating them, this is was shown to us by Starman, as he was showing us a glimpse into the future and what was going to happen. So in the future, when Lex comes there to fight, he pretty much kills Superman. He kills Flash. He kills all the Justice League members. The last is John Stewart, and he ends up killing him too. And he goes on to say, my abilities allow me to glimpse into the heart of hypertime itself, a cosmic flow of timelines and histories and government of our reality. This is not a dream, not a hoax, not an imaginary story. This is the real eminent. My darkness consult me with the most powerful spheres of planets and the greed of the great darkness. Well, so he's saying that he has the ability, since he has connecting to the universe and stuff, he could pierce into the hypertime, so the fourth dimension. He was piercing into there since he's connected to the third and the fourth. As he was piercing into it, he saw the future, and it's not an alternate future or anything. It's just the future, and in the future they all die. They just really can't handle it. But as this is happening, the Justice League thinks of their idea. They're like, well, they've been using the seven opposite energies of the universe to use against us and destroy us. So how about we use the seven energies of the universe? We already have some and we understand how they work. The Speed Force gives the universe motion, as it wielded by the Flash family and other speedsters. The Emotional Spectrum gives the universe feeling, as wielded by the Green Lantern Corps and the other lanterns. The Spear of Gods gives the universe magic, as wielded by the gods and those granted godlike power. The Life Force connects all living beings down to their souls and is felt mostly deep by those linked with the oceans, the font of all life. So he's saying that they have their seven. We already have our own seven. You have the Speed Force of the Flash. We have the Emotional Spectrum with John. We have the Spear of Gods with Wonder Woman, and the Spear of Gods is pretty much like I said, it's a universe of magic and it's connected to the gods. We have the life force with Aquaman, who is basically, is connected with everybody's soul and stuff, especially tied to those who are connected to the oceans. Then he says the collective conscious grants us wisdom and knowledge as wielded by our greatest minds and telepaths, and the dimensional structure of the multiverse governs all things imaginable and unimaginable, wielded by those put in place in motion of all creation. Think of these forces almost like a string stringed across the instruments that is our multiverse, stringing us, which the universe's major chords are played. So now he goes on to say that we have the collective unconscious, which is Martian Manhunter, and then the dimensional structure, which is the World Forger, and I think modern them, because they are cosmic level beings. They are higher dimensional beings that do all this forging and stuff. So these all interconnect, just like the other energies interconnected to do the dark. We have the light. The only difference is they've been using theirs. We haven't been using ours, so we need to connect our 7 energies to combat theirs. As he goes on to say, but each of these forces have darker cousins, the 7 hidden energies of creation across the last year. Luther and his Legion of Doom have unlocked each of the hidden energies. In doing so, Luther learned the truth of our multiverse and been born before we forged for the Dark Harmonious. The celestial beings responsible was called Perpetua in our original multiverse. She had a realm that would live forever. So, once again, they going on and talking about that. They say, but her song, the Monitor and other sons of the Monitor, the World Forger foiled her plans. They locked her away in the source wall. The multiverse was born again, properly this time governed by 7 positive energies. This all the Luther uncovered until his weapon, fragment of the totality of the cage, and President Perpetua left him by his father. The peace he holds allows him to harness the universe's dark force, and at this moment he has unlocked 6. So, and he'd be turned to Apex. So he's saying that we have the 7 dark force energy force is what Perpetua used to create the original universe. When she got turned to the source wall and she got destroyed, it created the 7 light ones that we have now. But Lex, with a key that was given to him by his father, he can unlock the 7 evil ones again to combat them, and he's been using them and accomplishing them. But as this is happening, he goes on to explain that we do have some ways to win, and one of the ways that we have to win is getting the other pieces of the totality. I have one in me, Hawkgirl has one in her. We have a few other throughout time where we can collect those, then we can manipulate that and then get it on our side. As he goes on to say, what connects Luther to the dark energies is his piece of totality that is the same in my case. When the totality first fell to Earth, it descended so fast it phased through space-time, breaking into pieces. The pieces Luther wields is by far the biggest, but a tiny shard burns inside this cosmic rod. And because of all of totalities connected, I can use the cosmic rod to sense any other presence around there. So basically, he's saying that the cosmic rod that we see throughout all of DC has always had a piece of the totality. A small one, not as big as Lex's one. He has the biggest, but it's enough to track the other ones to collect them together. They just have to go through space-time. So they create 2 time portals to go through 2 aspects of time, one in the past, one in the future. And both the Monitor and the World Forger created. They go on to say the calibration on the time vortex seems correct. Are you certain you calculated the variables in hypertime, brother? Our powers may have been greatly diminished on this plane, but I built hypertime with my own 2 hands. These gates are ready. They're ready to align. So now Monitor is just telling basically Forger, he's like, hey, did you get everything right? The hypertime stuff connected? He's like, dude, we have less power than we had before, so just keep that in mind. Then in their dimension, they're way stronger. Here, they had to weaken themselves to be able to exist. So they're weaker, but he says he created hypertime himself, so he knows it. But then they go on to say that now the sources leave with us. Our dark team created a space in the hall large enough for the brothers to work without shattering our reality beneath us. Together, they will build a ship that can carry us infinitely at the speed of edge of the universe, where we will convince the anti-Monitor brothers of that. Wait, do you see the lesson yourself, your friends, you return from the post to past and future of the totality pieces? So they went on to explain that that they're creating they're creating the hall in large enough, but they're trying not to break the reality because they are messing with space and time. So they're using quite a bit of power, so they might end up breaking reality if they don't do it properly. So they have to be careful. It says, our brother has always existed on the prairie. He's likely there, yes. Please stand back. Our powers may be diminished on this plane, but every strike of my hammer can bring a universe to life. To redirect that energy is touchy work. So yeah, they're like, yep, he's at the edge of the universe. Don't worry, but stand back. Like I said, my powers diminished, but still enough with my hammer. When I swing it, I create universes. But the difference is when I create the universe energy, I'm not going to create a universe. I'm just going to create the energy and direct it into the machine. That's why they're worried about everything being destroyed. So they do get set through there, but it ends up going wrong as both the teams that go through the past and the future end up getting in a mess up time. Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman end up in the future where they're dealing with Brainiac, and Brainiac took over, and they're trying to find out, like, where's the peace. And they find out Brainiac, he's captured entire fragments of hybrid time and imprisoned them in his ship. Hundreds of universes, possible futures have been bottled, including this one. So basically, they're saying that he was able to somehow have technology connecting to hybrid time and stealing. Usually, he would bottle cities or planets from the universe, but now he's bottling entire timelines and possibilities. And he's done hundreds of universes throughout this with his new technology. He's been able to compile them and pretty much trap them with his tech. So they go on as Lex is going with his plan, talking with the rest of his team. He says, there will be time for questions when your victory grasps your totality fragment locations reach a charge. Our goddess Perpetua assures me she has hyper time within our graphs, breaking with the toys you want, actions we will forward. Brainiac, I have pulled many futures out of your home world and bottled them with the technology Perpetua created to stabilize hypertime, whereas this time the total is found enough. So he goes on to say, Brainiac is saying, hey, Perpetua is the one who gave me the technology to do this, so that makes sense. So they got technology from her, and she was able to stabilize hypertime. Even though he's messing with it, it's stabilized where it doesn't break apart, even though he's screwing up with it. But as they're fighting, the future, Brainiac, he basically was mind controlling everybody in the future, but then they broke it. And as they broke out, there was the Hour Man there, and he pulls out this Warlog out of his chest that was combined with a piece and gives it to them so they can use it. This is important because if you guys have read the Superman Prime 1 Million, we see this team there, and we see the connection, and we also see Our Man being a very big part in there. He actually helped Superman Prime 1 Million to bring back Krypton with his time manipulating powers. But as this is happening, now Perpetua is back. They're almost done with their plan. They've gotten enough. But the heroes also have gotten their team set up. They got all the humans. They got the Anti-Monitor now. She was trying to get the Anti-Monitor on her side, but he ended up saying, hell no, I'm not here with you. I'm here with my brothers, and I'm going to work with my brothers against you. So they do something pretty impressive and cool, where they basically, all three of them combine into one version of themselves. So they're powering up, they're combining all their energies, and they do get a power boost. As he goes on to say, for eons we have been the Watcher's mother, the cogs in the machine you built for us, better for our works, but now you unleash the power of creation that exists within us, the firstborn children of the multiverse. Here today we act as one. So what happened here is they're unleashing their full power, their power of creation, and also as they're doing this, Starman's increasing their power as he says, I'm giving you everything I've got. You need to hold on as long as along for me to reestablish connections with the Justice League across hypertime. Yes, power unlike anything I've ever felt before, apart from the brothers of three, but together. And then they basically not only unleash all their power and increase their power with Starman, giving them some of the power of their totality, but they also combine and fuse into one mega one, calling them, we are the Ultra Monitor, defender of the multiverse and its aspects. We are the equal of your power, and we will not let you win. So what happened by them combining and doing that, now they are equal to their mom. Before they didn't really do it that way, but now they're finally equal to her. And while this is happening, there are three different Starmen also. There's one from the 1940s, there's one from 2500, I think it was, or maybe later in the future, and then there's the one that's in the current time. As they are all three of them connecting through different parts of time, it says, my God, this power is incredible. I feel you, brothers. I feel the constellation of Starman stretching out throughout beyond time, our physical forms. This has started with us, and it's beautiful. So now their powers are interconnecting to fight against him. As this is happening, Perpetua is fighting against her Ultra Monitor, and Ultra Monitor is able to punch her, not getting her down to the ground. but it's too late at this point. All the people that believed in Doom, they completely went over to Lex's side and his ideals and Perpetua's. So they kind of, even though they were having an advantage, they kind of joined her. But what happened pretty much was, at this point, since Lex Luthor absorbed Martian Man, Hawkgirl was pissed. She was really bad. She really loved him, and she was kind of being a dumbass. She was like letting her emotions get to her, and she was supposed to be helping them because she also had the totality, and she was supposed to be giving it to the Ultramonitor to give him the edge because he was tied with her at that point, but he needed a little bit more of a boost to beat her. But her focus was all on Lex. She was like, he needs to die. He needs to die. And since she wasn't focusing on Perpetua, she was able to get the power from the tides turning. But yeah, they did get the other totality pieces. She was just the final piece, but she fucked up by, not being able to control herself. So because of it, Perpetua got her power, and it started not to look good for them because they went on to say, we'll stop you, Mother. We're your sons. We will find a way to cage you, and your power will die. Morbius, as the Anti-Monitor, you are one of my bright multiverse's knees. You've shown me your displeasure. I know you are truly loyal to lie. Stop these games, control, and you have wanted back scale of power you've ached for all these years that I'm back, Anti-Monitor. So at some point, Anti-Monitor, his design changed, and apparently his character changed. And she was like, you know what? She was looking at the Ultramonitor saying, hey, Anti-Monitor, even though you betrayed me, my son, I do trust you, and I think you're different than them because you already wiped out. You brought the multiverse to his knees before, so you're just like me. And now she was able to separate their fusion, break him out, and then turn him back to what he was when he was in the, Infinite Crisis event. And after this, she finally regains her full power. At this point, Lex accomplished his mission and unlocked all 7 of the energies and the forces that she needs. So now she's fully unlocked. She got her powers. But she's still growing, as we see a little bit later on. But when she gets her powers, now she's looking for worlds that are not on her side. So just like her son, Forge, or the World Forger, where he was catching people that were on the side of Doom and trapping them, she's just directly going to their universes and trying to handle them herself. So she pulls up to a more old school Batman. It was like a gaslight Batman. So it's like the 1800s Batman. She pulls up to their universe and says, you guys are all on the side of justice over Doom. I do not like you. I'm going to get rid of you. So she basically comes to the world, puts her staff down, and basically destroys their universe. She goes on to say, trillions of lives gone in a single instant. There were 52 universes in the previous of my multiverse. Now there are 51. So she wiped out one universe already there because it wasn't fitting in the line. So she's only leaving the universes that align with Doom. So kind of like the Ultraman's universe will be perfectly fine. So she does this, and then she goes on to say, I can create and destroy as long as I did so long ago. All but a fraction of my power has been returned to me. There's much work to do. The hero's foolish for not seeing all the possible ways of my side. The broken multiverse tends to be this unstable and dying. You nearly broke my heart, Morbius. I'm worried of all the corpse around your favorite precious child world. So she's saying that she has fully got unlocked and she's fully got her power, but she hasn't truly fully got her power because she's only got a fraction of it. So she got, I guess, like fully awakened, but her power is taking some time to really fully come back fully. So even though she has a fraction of her power, she was able to wipe out a universe pretty easy, and she was able to beat the Ultramonitor, who's a combination of 3 of them at once, and pretty much was stronger than anybody else there. So she was able to surpass everybody else there with her power, and it was just a fraction. After this, she's like talking to the Monitor to tell him to go. She's talking to Luthor. She says, it will take me time to gather enough energy to destroy another universe, but this will work to do in time. So she's setting now Anti-Monitor after the whole incident with Hawkgirl failing. She was fatally injured by Lex, and she was trying to escape with her son. She's pretty much still stuck in the other dimension, and she's trying to get back to the real world with the rest of the Justice League members, but she's kind of trapped there, and she sent her son the Anti-Monitor to attack them. But right now, she herself admitted that she needs to gather enough energy to destroy another universe. So even though she destroyed the other universe and she's the most powerful being, even though once again there's only a fraction of her power, still she was only able to destroy one universe, and it takes time for her to recharge. So it's a little weird and wonky, the power scaling there, but I guess it's whatever, because like even if you say, well, she has only a fraction of her power, but yeah, but she was able to surpass the the Ultra Monitor, which is the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger combined. So it doesn't really make sense that she would need to destroying a single universe would take that much energy, need to charge up, even if it's in a fraction of power, because her fraction of power was able to beat everybody else. So I think that was just a little weird and wonky. But as this is happening, she's telling Lex how he's going to be the general of her army. She goes on to say, my son, the Anti-Monitor, and the worlds of Forge are at the center of the multiverse. You will lead the army to destroy these worlds one after another. So basically, she's telling him, hey, we're going to be in the center of the multiverse, and we're going to wipe out all the other universes in the multiverse that don't work with us. We're going to basically conquer as much as we possibly can. We see later on how, Martian Manhunter's son states that she destroyed an entire universe and how he could hear the screams. Then she finally got her energy back and pulled up to another universe. So she pulled it up to another one that has believes it justice over doom, and she's not having any of it. She's like, I'm gonna kill you guys too, just like how we did the last one. But this one's a little bit different. She actually ends up just grabbing the planet and chucking that shit. She chucks it so hard, we see them flying, and we see the people all on the planet getting disintegrated, and it's flying towards the Forger and Monitor, because as the Anti-Monitor was attacking Hawkgirl and her son, they showed up to help her with the at this point Starman's dead because Perpetua absorbed his energy and killed him. So but still, at this point they showed up to come and help her out, and they say something pretty interesting as they start talking, and Will Forge says, hear me, I might not be able to strike my hammer hard enough to create a portal, but the impact of the planet, it might be enough to create a small gateway. You can't survive that impact. So she gets the planet, she's chucking at them to kill them, and he's like, I don't have enough power to hold my hammer, because he's trying to open up a portal to help Hawkgirl and the Sun to get out, because once they get out, they can work with the Justice League to make the seventh energy of good, to fight back the seven evil energy and basically turn the tides. So they need a portal, but he's not strong enough to make it. But he said, once the planet comes, I'm going to hit that, and that should be enough energy to generate for a small portal. But the Monitor says, you can't survive that, you're going to die. And he says, I'm not sure if any of you can, any of us can, but what these years taught me is that there's no shortcuts in the victory without sacrifices. The past I have reformed as being like us, doing the sixth dimension, but our mother is the control. I doubt that she will be possible. This is goodbye. It is not sad. So he basically saying that, yeah, I don't think any of us can survive the planet coming at us. We're pretty much going to die. Usually when we die, we come back to the sixth dimension. We really don't usually die. We just die and then come back there. But since she's taken over, this time of I die, I don't think I'm going to come back there. I'm just going to be wiped out of existence. Whereas the other one, like I said, usually that's just how the world goes, but since she's back and she's controlling things and running things, she changes up the rules. So they come back, they all hold hands, they're all powering up, and now they're set off their energy, and as they do, they're actually able to counteract Perpetua's one, and she even notices it. She said the energy that is in the air, it tilts away from Doom. So their plan worked, their energy counteracting is working, because her Doom symbol went up in the sky to every universe. When she succeeded, it went to every universe, so it basically was a stamp on the multiverse. But now with them doing this, it's kind of combating her stamp with their stamp. And now finally Lex shows up to the battlefield, like in the Vision, to fight the Justice League. Flash goes after him, and he basically uses the Still Force to decay him and turn him old. He doesn't kill him though, but he turns him old. And as this is happening, Superman comes in, punches him, hits him so hard, he sends Lex flying through the buildings and smashing down to the ground. But Lex gets back up and they start throwing hands. Lex starts punching him back and forth, hitting him, but Superman gives him a mean uppercut. And now both Superman and Lex are pretty much damaged. Lex, they both look pretty bad. They're pretty tired. They've been punching each other. They punched each other only a few times, but the amount of power that they were able to hit each other was with enough to do significant damage. But luckily for Superman, unlike Lex, Superman had both Batman and Wonder Woman there to pull up, and they three hit him simultaneously, knocking him to the ground. And this does significant damage as he's bleeding and he's in a pretty bad position to be in. But he gets back up to try to fight for Perpetua. But as he does this, Martian Manhunter's son realizes something, that his father's within him, and the only way to stop him is to get his father out. So he goes inside his body. He basically goes inside him. He's like, "What are you doing?" And as he does, he talks to him and he replaces his dad's position with him. So he gets stuck in him while his dad comes out. And as his Martian Manhunter comes out, now he enacts his plan to turn the tides completely to their side. So he uses psychic abilities against her. He says, "Her mind reaches for mine, so I cast further, this time faster, waving through the inevitable clockwork of the universe between nanoseconds, femtoseconds, and Planck time." So he was able to go so fast with his psychic outreach throughout existence that he was able to do it in Planck time. But it didn't work anyway, because she says, "I made this universe after all. The children, I'm not a villain. I'm a foe. I'm beyond that. I'm the beginning and I'm the end. I left pieces of my cage for Vandal Savage to find across time, for Luther to find. I designed all this, the whole tale from the beginning to know. So now that you would know that there's no choice of real, the world no longer has any place for you." So she's basically said, "Yes, I was trapped a long time ago, but at that point, I already made my plans with everything. So you guys already lost. Everything was going to plan anyway." And she was right, because at this point they're pretty much done and they're cooked. She just gets her hand out, she obliterates them and says, "That is the final truth, and no mind, dear Martian, is fast enough to escape it. Now you have chosen, so you can end the story as it always meant to be." So she pretty much seemingly wipes them out of existence. But this doesn't happen, as we see Martian Manhunter reform, kind of like how Cell did when he turned to Supercell. He came back, and then we see apparently the Quintessence? Sorry, I can't really pronounce that at all. I don't know why. But the Quintessence show up. As they pull up, he says, "This was always your fate." So apparently this was a part of their plan. They themselves, what they did when Perpetua was about to attack, they created a portal and transported them out of there to some place and saved them. So they weren't in the entire story. We saw the little part where they talked about it, but they didn't do anything. And I guess they were planning, so they're now trying to find out what the hell is happening. Batman's like, "Great ones, you are some of the most powerful beings in existence. Your names alone inspire awe. Highfather here, Shazam, Spectre, Phantom, Stranger, Gadith. So why the hell did you help us? We are the ones who saved you, brought you here to this space, cloaked in our energy. She might have returned the mother of yours to the past and the future, but you lost. She meant to kill you, so do you not be in some way do not understand?" So what's happening is Batman saying, "Yo, you guys are powerful. Where the fuck were you guys? You inspired so many people, but then this big event happens, you're nowhere here." And the High Father basically tells him, "Yo, you need to chill, first of all. We were the ones who saved you. Not only did we take you out of that shitty situation, but we also covered you in our presence so she wouldn't be able to detect you. We brought you to this area in Dimension. She was trying to kill you. We saved your ass." But Spectre's like, or Stranger's like, "Easy, High Father. We stayed with us because we were protecting something mortal. Protecting what? If it's anything we can use to fight back, we'll try. Slow down, Clark. There's a portion of something dark, something deception, some lies, something challenges. Some we must trade true to even loss." And then he goes on to explain, say, "Behind the door lies a path that connects all actions, past, present, and future. This fight is bigger than justice or doom, it's everything. But beware, in opening this door, you will bring everything you bear and give reckoning to every story, every event throughout history, the ones you know and the ones you do not. Now that is your choice. We have to try. If we lose everything, with everything in play. Listen to me. Perpetua's great lie is that each matter alone. The truth is we matter, making every life matter, honoring every story. So that's how we fight here. We make it everything matter." Well said. All right, let's go in sometime last. So that was pretty much it with the story event. They technically didn't win. They got like a second chance. They failed completely with all their plans. But luckily for them, the quinins, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They basically were able to transport them out of there, cloak them, and then put them in another dimension, and then give them another option where there's a door. Now, you guys might be confused by the last part. Like, what the fuck does this even mean? This is confusing as shit. And trust me, I felt the same way when I first read it. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, man? So they fucking lost. What is this? Like, another planet? Like, they ventured off in every direction they could, and they lost every chance. So what the fuck are they going to do now? But apparently, what this was leading up to was the final frontier, which we all know at this point, the final frontier, the whole point of it is to make everything canon. So we've had always discussions about canon in DC, and if this is canon, is that canon? And the reason a lot of people disagree or agree if something is canon or not canon in DC is due to the fact that they do a lot of reboots and they change a lot of stuff, so some stuff that might have counted before doesn't count again. But with the Final Frontier story stuff, it kind of transitioned to everything counts, everything matters. So that's why people are saying you can use every and any feat of Superman. There's no such thing as composite Superman or composite this character or that character. So that's what they meant right there. They're saying, hey, look, you guys have no other option. You guys are screwed. But there is a place. It's going to be a little bit confusing, but every possibility that there ever is will exist. And it kind of makes sense that they were leading into this because they did mention multiple times the other crisis events, the other storylines, the other things that they forgot. There's other moments where they mentioned that history and time has been manipulated so much, so it makes sense that they're connecting this all. And since, unlike them, Perpetua and like the rest, or at least Perpetua, she hasn't felt the change of the changing of history and time. She's seen it, but she hasn't felt it because she was within the source wall itself and above all that. But she basically is acknowledging the fact that, you know, that she's gonna, what's the called, that what's happening. But like I said, at this point, they were hinting at it and they would keep on mentioning it, that there was a big thing, and it was just an excuse. They always use these crisis events or big events as an excuse to, you know, write the story in a certain way. It used to be like, oh, the story's gotten too convoluted, we need to trim some stuff out and keep some stuff. Now it's just like, let's just keep everything and just keep it like this, because a lot of people always cry about the consistency and we keep on crying about like this crisis event, so how about let's do this? But they are saying this is our last chance to beat her. Basically they're saying is, we're going to try this way where everything we're going to make a canon, but if the fans don't like it and it doesn't come out great, we might just scrap the idea and say, hey, well, this was open-ended and the whole point was this was to give them the edge to beat Perpetua, and it didn't work that way, so they're going to just use this to beat her now. But after that, the story goes to just normal shit. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of it. It was very confusing. It was very convoluted. It was a lot to go through. There was a lot of story that I was missing from the prior events because they had a lot of stuff happening. But pretty much, you know, it was a lot of Lex and stuff. We didn't get to see Perpetua fully, and even when she was unlocked, she didn't get to fully utilize her power or see what she was fully capable of. We just saw quite a bit, but that was it. Yeah, they pretty much all lost. They had no chance against her. She had all the plans. Lex was outsmarting them at every turn they were in. They just couldn't beat them. They did do some stuff, but they didn't do enough. The whole punching the World Forger thing, that was not that big of a thing. It was a big deal for us as, you know, fans or power scaling, but outside of it, it wasn't that big of a thing. Now reading it, what does it mean? Personally, I just think it's very open-ended. This entire story was very confusing anyway. Like, the power scaling was all over the place with all the characters. Even though they're higher dimensional level beings, their power doesn't feel like it. Like, Perpetua kind of, but it's like, Mixius feel like his powers are basically the same thing. Like, Mixius, I can feel how much of a threat he is. These other ones, they're a higher dimension, but they don't feel like it. It feels like it's very specific how their powers work. But, yeah. Also, they did retcon stuff like being the anti-monitor and, you know, the anti-monitor and monitoring stuff being, you know, 6 dimensions in the 6 dimension range or whatever. They never showed that before. I don't remember. Also, the anti-monitor, his backstory was different. The way he got found was because the monitor was looking through time and tried to see back in the past, and then it created the anti-monitor and it split time. And once it did that, the anti-monitor was gung-ho about taking down the positive matter universe. So, like, it was just a little weird. But, yeah, that was how it ended. I can probably do a conclusion video on it because these 2 videos I was just going through all the feats and everything that happened and the cosmology and structure and stuff like that. So there was a lot of shit to go through, so I couldn't really focus on the smaller specific things. But we did learn quite a bit. They did change quite a bit of stuff. But it was pretty interesting, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and stay tuned for next time.